Hello, this is Matt Hackney, the author of the Trinity method. In a Trinity method, we have 3 steps that I want you to understand. They make up a triangle. The first is participate, and then movement, and finally become awakened. So let's start out talking about how to participate, what participation is. We're going to have a paradigm shift in how you learn, how you think of life, what you're confident in, and what you share with others. For participation, the first thing I want you to do is get involved in something. Right now, you might think you're already involved somewhere, but you can always be involved in more things. So I want to test what you involve yourself in and find an area that you don't understand in life. Look back over 1,000 years and look at something that everybody's involved in, or an area that everybody thinks is important. Maybe you don't know about history. Maybe you don't know the arts, dance, photography, music. Whatever it is, let's explore that area. When you first learn how to participate, let's also learn how to explore that area. Because the paradigm shift I'm going to teach you is going to change how you learn everything for the rest of your life. I want you to get involved in that area not as a student, but as a teacher. I want you to learn my give, give, take philosophy. So in my give, give, take philosophy, in order to learn a new area, first you give there, and then you give again before asking any questions, before taking from the teacher. Once the world adopts this philosophy, we all can learn from one another, and the teachers can see their students asking the basic questions to other students. The most advanced questions should only be handled by the top teachers. 90% of all students in areas have questions that are repetitive. So by giving, giving, and taking, when you only know 0.1% of something, you can give to other people. You can give to 90% of everyone in the world with that 0.1%, because everybody's going to ask the same question. When you first learn about nutrition, all the world leaders, they all say the same thing. They all say that you have to eat small meals. They all say that you must eat a clean diet. Now there might be some discrepancy on the upper 10% of how that works, but that 90% range of what you need to know, it's all the same. So no matter what area you're studying, what area you want to learn in, when you learn to give first and take second, it's a lot better philosophy. Now if we look at normal school systems, normal schools have a teacher in front of a classroom, and that teacher teaches to 30 students, sometimes more as our population grows. And if we look back thousands of years, we'll see that there were different paradigms. There was a time when the children were apprentices of masters. So let's not look at you as a student anymore, and let's not look at anybody that you aspire to be as a teacher. They're not a role model, they're not an aspiration, but instead they're a mentor, they're a sensei. So we don't have teachers and students, we only have masters and apprentices. So as an apprentice, let's step away from asking the master questions. Step away from asking the master how to do things, but instead, fear not whenever you mess up. And see that the master is playful in everything that he does. The master encourages you to mess up. And the master sees you as an apprentice. He actually wants to replace himself. Normally, in a pedagogical method, a student learns from a teacher not to replace the teacher, but to aid the teacher's vision and to be a forever student. The problem with a forever student is that our generations can't grow, is that our entire society, our entire species can evolve into something better. When you have a master and an apprentice, the apprentice's job, their perspective, is to replace the master eventually, to learn more than the master is capable of, so that someday they not only know as much as the master knows, but they can exceed anything the master has envisioned. A great master knows this, and that's why he takes on apprentices. So with this philosophy, I want you to look at your areas in your life that you've been struggling in. I want you to ask yourself, when's the last time you gave in that area? Not taken, not read up on something. When's the last time you gave someone else a massage? When's the last time you cooked a meal for somebody else? If you're overweight, when's the last time that you actually trained somebody else and helped them with their own health? Maybe you're sad all the time. Maybe you're depressed. When's the last time you smiled at somebody else to help them, asking nothing in return? And remember, this is a give-take philosophy. Therefore, I don't want you to just smile at one person. Smile to 2 people. Smile to 10 people. The more you give that, the more habits you form in yourself, and now you're known as the person that smiles. And first we have to convince other people that's who you are. But eventually, other people will reflect back into you, and you'll realize that you are that person that smiles. So habits can form with this. So that takes me on to our next step, which is movement. So we not only participate, but we also move. And when you first learn movement, I want you to see that our cells are vibrating. And all we're just made up of cells. So let's look at the cells in your body that aren't vibrating. We have many different pieces of our cells. We have our brain, which is controlled by vibrations of thought. We have our body, which is controlled by vibrations of movement. And we also have our spirit, we have our soul, and that's controlled by vibration of enlightenment. So if we're going to move with our body, starting out, let's just look at the areas that you haven't been moving in. That's why there's such a large movement right now with yoga, with fitness, with inspiration to sweat, to get physical, to work out. All over the world, you're finding that people know that it's important to move. Now sure, in the top 10%, they're going to tell you to align your body a certain way. They're going to tell you to breathe a certain way. But the basis of all of this is you need to move. And what you'll find is you don't want to move the same cells over and over. You actually want to find new cells in your body and move the cells that haven't had any movement. The whole idea of this section is to get rid of stagnant energy. So maybe you can already do a side split and you think you're flexible. How is your neck flexibility? Maybe you're already strong and you can lift a lot of weights, but how long can you hold your breath underwater? So think about these things and change your perception of what movement is. So that goes with movement of the body. In movement of the mind, I've had some phenomenal instances in my life where I've actually felt pieces of my mind open up. I used to really dislike dancing. I disliked classical dancing and the theaters and the arts. But I applied this to myself and I learned there's a reason that the top people in the world appreciate this. And in my youth, I was very mathematical. I saw that other people struggled with mathematics, but they came very easy to me. And the arts became very difficult for me. People that know me today wouldn't agree with that. They would never see me as the type of person that would struggle in the arts, but it's true. I was very good at mathematics, very intellectual, very logical, and I didn't have an appreciation for the arts. So I chose to overcome that by becoming a ballroom dance teacher. And in becoming a ballroom dance teacher, I knew that these people love this. They don't do it for school, they do it for life. They do it as a hobby. So if I learn how to make it a hobby like they do, then I'll understand this other piece of life that right now in this moment, I don't understand. So that was a long process. 3-4 years later, 60 hours a week, I finally changed my mindset and I realized I love this. I now see to this day why people love dance so much, why people love the arts. Since I started 10 years ago, there hasn't been one day that I've gone where I haven't danced. So knowing that, there's also not been one day that's gone since I haven't done mathematics. Because I've loved mathematics since I was a little kid. And my point is, I felt a new piece of my brain have movement in it. Once I connected dance inside my brain and the new synapses happened, there was movement in my mind that you can't turn that off after you learn it. That's the beautiful thing about the mind. It's a beautiful thing about the body too. Once you do a new yoga move and you unlock your lower back, you never again want to have a stiff lower back. You have a new understanding of why people love yoga so much. You'll feel the exhilaration. You feel the serotonins that it releases in your body. All of this science aside, the first thing that you want to do is just understand movement is important. Getting rid of stagnant movement. Adapting new philosophies that you don't understand. Just like me when I was learning how to dance. I was young. I still hadn't experienced a lot in the world. I had already traveled the world. I'd done a lot of mathematics. I had been a lifeguard. I was very physically fit, but I didn't understand the arts. I wasn't aristocratic yet. I wasn't a scholar. I was learning how to go from a boy to a gentleman. So learn this about yourself. Learn how to have more serenity, more gentle energy, and to bring yourself into that balance, you'll definitely want to cover a lot of movement and get rid of all stagnant areas in your body. The best way I know to get rid of stagnant energy in your body is to ask somebody else, because we see this in others. Think of your mom, think of your dad, think of where they aren't moving. Think of your brothers, your sisters. Think of your friends. Think of the stagnant energy, the repetitive energy that they keep trying the same thing. And now, think of yourself. Think of what people repeatedly tell you that you keep doing wrong. Being wrong is not bad. We just have to have awareness of where we're wrong so that we can stop repeating the same energy over and over. Now I want you to look at other places that we move. Let's look at all of our senses, our eyes, our touch, our mouth, the sounds we listen to, the vocals that we project. And I want you to start changing your vocals. I want you to change them into a way where you say pleasant things. Linguistics is a very large portion of my program, and what I believe works very well for people. Try to say consonants less. Consonants are anything that is not a vowel. Try it. Listen to me and notice how little I use them. When someone talks to you, whether they're right or wrong, say okay. Say yes. Because when their philosophy doesn't work in your mind, that's your mind being stagnant and not being open. Being open, think of a door that's open. When someone walks through it, the door allows people to walk through it. So allow your mind to be open. Allow other people to walk through your mind. Don't attach to owning your mind. Keep it open and keep movement happening through it. And through this way, you'll flow. In addition to that, keep your mouth gentle as well. And when you speak words, realize that words are weapons. Have different movement with your mouth. Learn a new word every day. Learn what intelligence is. The word intelligence, for example, means to tell somebody something. When we tell somebody something and they embody that, they now have intel. If they possess that intel and they actually use it with action, it now has intelligence. So the only way to have intelligence is to have an open mind and let other people's thoughts tell you what to do. And if those thoughts have resounding knowledge in them, then that becomes intel. Once you practice those habits, that becomes intelligence. So understand this and change your vocabulary, move your mind and move your words in a way that you see words and you see perspectives in a whole new way. So by taking up Pilates, dancing, yoga, learning the guitar, and learning to use different words in your vocabulary, you will become a new person. This is the movement that I'm talking about that I'd like to teach you. I have plenty of programs. The whole world has plenty of programs. So be an apprentice of the world. Let the world be your master. Be an apprentice of it to learn new philosophies. Get rid of the stagnant energy and the repetitive mindsets that you've used before. After you've done that, you'll start to realize, as I have, that there is a flow to life. There's a rhythm to it. Things actually do repeat themselves. There's a pattern. If you look out in nature and you look in the jungle as I am now, you'll see there's leaves everywhere. You'll see that there's branches everywhere. It looks like chaos. At the same time that there's chaos, there's a harmony to it. There's a beauty to it. If you go and scrutinize that jungle, you'll actually see that there is a mathematical formula to that harmony. I learned this in dancing as well. Dancing was the last thing that I learned where I saw that there was this harmony, and after I saw it there, I realized this is beautiful. Life actually has a mathematical equation to it. We call that equation the golden ratio, and I'll explain that later, but just know that that golden ratio is a mathematical equation that you can follow in every area of life. If you produce a music album and it doesn't sell very well, the problem is that people are in tune with nature. There's a rhythm that they're following. Their heartbeat actually has a mathematical equation to it, a rhythm to it of when it beats, why it beats. It pulsates with all the other cells at the same frequency. This isn't just in one human, it's in all humans. Every plant has a rhythm as well. The sun has a rhythm. The sun has a rhythm. So with this golden ratio equation, it's a sacred number that is seen throughout history. It's seen throughout nature. If you go and scrutinize the plants, you'll see these numbers in patterns. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. They repeat themselves. You will not find a plant with 6 petals on it. You won't find one with 20 petals on it, but you will find one with 13. You will find one with 21. That's the rhythm of nature. So when you produce music and you listen to Mozart and you wonder why his music is so beautiful, he followed this rhythm. He did not create his own rhythm. So before you go and create in life, have a movement of your mind and understand the rhythm and the energy that life already has. Once you flow with this, you'll realize how beautiful nature is. We don't need to create on our own. That rhythm is already there and it's so powerful. It's so mathematical, and there's so much chaos and beauty to it that it can intrigue us for a lifetime. So if we look at the word universe, I want you to learn what the word universe is. Here's another word for the day. A universe is simply a verse. And what is a verse? A verse is a piece of a story. Multiple verses is a multiverse. However, a universe is one story. It's one story being told in unison. And think of the beauty of that. This mathematical equation, this golden ratio of life, can be seen everywhere, not just here on Earth, not just in the plants, but across the entire galaxy. When you look at every single planet, the planets spread out in this Fibonacci spiral. The Fibonacci spiral is that mathematical equation I told you. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, the 7. And these compound on each other, and our planets have spread out through millions of years in this mathematical equation. When you look up into the galaxy, into the Milky Way, into the solar system, you'll see this, and it's all inspiring. It's awesome. So understand this, and understand if you want true beauty, if you want the kind of beauty that a God can create, then learn this mathematical ratio and learn to have harmony like this. If you want to be like the universe, learn that it's one story being told in unison. And step away from trying to create on your own without understanding this. A great creative director, a great composer, a great storyteller understands this and flows with this method. After you understand the rhythm of life and what the universe means, you've now become awakened. That's the beauty of this. With these words alone, you've already become awakened. You just don't want to forget it. You want to maintain that knowledge. Hold on to it. So how do we hold on to knowledge? How do we stay awakened? And what is awakened mean? Awakened simply means that you have habitual energy inside of you. It means that you are consistent in what you do. If you're trying to quit smoking, let's look at those words again. If you're trying, and if you have that word quit somewhere in your vocabulary, you haven't become awakened yet. You don't yet understand what quitting is, what trying is. Once we become enlightened, or we're awakened, we're consistent with one thought. We don't veer away from that. For example, I'm 31 year right now, and I'm a man. I'm awakened in these cells today, in this moment, and this entire lifetime. They know that they're a man. I've been awakened to that. There's no time that I'm thinking that I'm a woman. That's not a thought in my process. There's not also a thought that I might be a bird. I'm a man. So if you think about that and you're a smoker, or you're overweight, or you're depressed, don't tell yourself that you're trying not to be depressed, that you're trying to quit smoking. Tell yourself what you are. Say, I am an athlete. I am beautiful. I am happy. Because there's no time in my life that I say, I'm trying to stop being a bird. I'm trying not to be a woman. Because what true man says that? So try that with yourself and be awakened that way. Say what you are and look back at your actions. And whatever your actions are today, that determines what you're awakened to. So if what your actions today determine what you're awakened to, that also means that it's important to be today what you want to be, to say what you want to say, to form habits and form methods that you appreciate. So the best way to awaken yourself is to have movements and understand that rhythm and participate. So the awaken phase, it's the third phase in our Trinity cycle. First, you must participate, and you must give your time to a subject that you want to know. You must give your energy, give your thoughts to it. After you give, then you will receive, and what you will receive is knowledge. What you'll receive is a movement. You'll get rid of stagnant energy inside of who you are, and that stagnant energy turns into enlightenment. It transforms, because after you give enough, you realize there's other people out there. They have the same problem that you do. They have the same struggles that you do. And the problem is that they're trying. They're not teaching, they're trying. They're not giving, they're trying to take. Once you start giving of yourself, that's when you become truly awakened, truly enlightened. And you can apply this anywhere. That's the beauty of this Trinity. So with our Erikai Trinity method, I want you to first participate, and then have movement, get rid of stagnant energy, and then you be awakened in the subject of your choice. If we're going to move our mind and our spirit and our heart all at the same time, that doesn't mean that we're just more intelligent. That means that we have a newfound love for what we're doing. So if you simply are doing yoga once a week, you haven't really been awakened to its benefits. If you're only holding back on not smoking once per week, once again, you're not truly enlightened to why you don't want to do that. And let's not judge others. Let's not judge yourself even. Let's only choose what you want to be. So awakening is actually loving the habit that you formed. Loving the action of it and feeling that movement inside of you and loving that movement. So when you're doing yoga, if you don't love it, then you haven't been awakened to it. That's okay. You don't have to be. As you give it to others and you see the changes that it has in them, then and only then will you have a true love for it. Because it's amazing. We have eyes for a reason. We have ears for a reason. We have touch for a reason. When we touch things, when we see things, when we observe how the world reacts to different visions, that is what truly awakens us. So do that in your life. Give to others and see how they respond when they quit smoking. Give to others and give them yoga. Give them dance. See how they respond whenever they start dancing. When they stop moving and they start having a rhythm and a dance to their body. And then you'll have a newfound love for that as well. So I want you to stay in this cycle, and I want you to participate in many different activities. And by participating, I mean become an apprentice of it. Go out and volunteer. Give your time to your family. Find something that somebody's struggling in your life and give time back to them. And you might tell me, I don't have time. You might say, it's a good dream, but I don't have time for that. Trust me, you do have time. The time that you take to watch TV, the time that you take in the bathroom, the time that you think about what you want to be, the time that you're depressed, sitting there in silence. Yes, you have time. Because once you're happy, you're not as stressed. Once you're enlightened and awakened, you can sleep as I do. I don't sleep that much. So change your habits. Find enlightenment and give to others. And find the stagnant areas in your body and awaken those. Have movement in them. Get rid of the stagnant blockage of flow. So instead of thinking of getting rid of stagnation, I want you to see it as life has this beautiful flow to it. We are the universe. We're all one energy flowing together. And when you let go of control and you flow with that, you come back into the universe and you flow with it. So the stagnation that you've created in your body, it's actually blocking that love. It's blocking that flow from being inside of you. So find the areas that you think that you're right in, and let's change that recipe. Let's no longer say I'm right or you're wrong. We're one universe. Let someone else's thoughts flow through you. And it's not stagnation, that's actually a dam. And energy is flowing through, and you build a dam, and that dam says this is the only thing that's right, and that over there is wrong. That's a dam. So let's let go of that dam. Let's make sure that your energy flows with the golden ratio, and it flows in harmony with how nature works. It's chaos. It's a beautiful, harmonious chaos. After you understand this, you'll realize why our minds work the way they do. After you give this to other people, and you give this philosophy to them, you'll see them become harmonious. As they do it, you'll build your own confidence, and you yourself will become harmonious as well. Then and only then do I want you to move on past all of this and understand a new stage in your participation. So after you understand all of this, I want you to see that it's okay to teach what you don't know. Now let's think about that for a second. Think about every teacher you've had your whole life. And now listen to me. You're listening to somebody that has wealth, has health, has great looks, has a family, lives where they want to live, has freedom. I do what I want to do, travel when I want to travel. And I'm sitting here telling you that it's okay to go against what society has told you is appropriate. But why do you listen to society? What are they trying to give you? They're trying to give you freedom. They're trying to give you wealth. They're telling you if you follow me and listen to me, you will be beautiful. But here I am and I have all of those things, and I'm telling you society's wrong. I'm telling you that you need a paradigm shift, and you need to start teaching things that you have no idea what they even are. Why am I saying this? How's that possible? How's it possible to teach in an area that you have no knowledge of? Well, let's look at our Trinity. When you participate somewhere, and then you move and you get rid of stagnant movement, and lastly, you realize that that enlightens you. When you participate as that apprentice, you get the knowledge, the wealth, and the enrichment that your master has for you. And that's a good feeling. So now that you've done that a while, let's think about your students. Let's think about the people that they're still only taking. They don't want to give. They feel like they have things they need to learn. So for those people, it's okay, teach them. Give to them. And what you should be giving is your knowledge that they should give. Because you still don't know how to do that. If you're not teaching other people how to give, and instead when they ask you questions, if you're giving answers, you're not doing the world a service. You're doing a service by reminding people that the answer is within them. Because in this entire Trinity method, I'm teaching you how to go within. This isn't an upward ladder that you're climbing. This is a feeling of enlightenment and awakening that you're going within and you're finding the inner peace of who you are. And the closer you get within, the more you realize that you can teach anything. Because if you can teach confidence, if you can teach movement, and to get rid of stagnant energy, and you can teach to give first and accept later, then you know the secret to every single piece of life. If you do so following the Fibonacci principles, with a golden ratio to the harmony that you create, well, you're not only giving the secrets of learning, but you're also giving the secrets that our Creator made to have what we have here. So anytime you have a thirst for knowledge, I want you to stop giving time to yourself, and I want you to start giving your time to somebody else. When you give that time to somebody else, that is your way of learning. If you want to learn, if you have a desire to feed your own body, feed somebody else first. And then, and only then, you'll realize that this is a new form of participation, because life flows only through those that give. The more that you're a student and you're an apprentice for the sake of learning, you won't have success. But if you're an apprentice and you start replacing your teacher, your master, and you realize they need help teaching the other students, they need help showing the other students how important it is to give, how important it is to move, and how important it is to be enlightened, to be awakened. Once you start giving those to other people, you'll find that you're creating new dreams. And that brings me over to our movement in this area. Now, by this time, you should be doing Pilates already. You should understand the importance of yoga, the importance of playing chess, all the games and all the modalities that we've used for movement of the mind, body, and soul. You should have already read all the religious books by now. Not just one, not having a stagnant mind and reading one piece of theology, only doing yoga and thinking that's the answer to life. That's not the answer to life. Movement's the answer to life. And I'll teach you why. Let's look at it from a scientific perspective. We're simply energy. Let's break it down. Your mind is telling you what you are right now. What is your mind? It's electrical currents, and as I talk, you're choosing if you believe this or not. Those are electrical currents inside of your brain, and let's look at that even and zoom in even closer. They're molecules that are vibrating back and forth on one another. So your mind is made up of some molecules that are twisted in one way, and then your skin is made up of other molecules, and depending on how fast those molecules vibrate, depending on how dense they are, determines if they're green, if they're thick, if they're brown, if it's skin, if it's hair, what it is. So when we look out with our eyes and we see a block of wood, that's actually molecules vibrating in a certain way that in the previous time we told ourselves as wood. So you've convinced yourself that different vibrations of energy represent names. Let's realize that. Once you realize that, you also want to realize that you can vibrate at a higher frequency than you did before. The stagnant energy that you had in your body, you should be warmer now. You should breathe more. You should be drinking more water. You should have an open door in your mind. So all of that is more flow. So when people see you and they say that you're beautiful, they say that you have presence, what they're really saying is, when I look at other humans and then I look at you, I see a difference. I see that your molecules are vibrating more than theirs. We can see this in other people. There's a reason there's gurus in the world. And it's beautiful. We all want to be that. So if you look at the galaxy, you'll see that all pieces around the galaxy move and vibrate in a way that make the galaxy work. When you look at a star, you think, wow, it's a beautiful star. But in reality, those are vibrating molecules flying away from each other or flying towards something else. When we realize this, we realize that we are energy that's either coming towards something or going away from something else. So if you look at us from a very far distance, we're a little speck. Now at the same time, you can control this energy. And I want to teach you how to control that. This can take you a year, this can take you 5 years, or it could just take you 1 moment. That's the beauty of this phase. So initially, I wanted you to do yoga. I wanted you to do Pilates. I wanted you to dance. I wanted you to listen to classical music, speak different words, open your mind in different ways. But now that you're there, there's a complete different form of movement that I want you to understand. This new movement is on the molecular level. With molecules, I want to show you how powerful the mind is. First, I want you to see, as I said before, the mind has molecules in it. Those molecules, when you think different thoughts, they vibrate at different speeds. They vibrate in different directions. This is science. We can actually see this on a computer. We can visualize it on video. When we make people have different thoughts, they'll actually have different types of highway patterns in their brain of where those thoughts are going. That's a beautiful thing. So now think about this. Whether you're reading this, listening to this, or someone's telling it to you, I want you to try this now with me, and I want you to see that I can move your energy. I can move it anywhere that I want. The reason I can move it is right now, this is a vibration of molecules that I'm sending to you. You're receiving these molecules. Look at your ear, look at your eyes. If they're words on a page, they're bouncing off and they're going back to you. That's a vibration that I'm sending to you. If they're words, you can actually look at the diaphragm on a microphone and realize that's energy that's being sent as well. Now, once that gets to you and it gets to one of your senses, if it gets to your ears, it goes in through the ear, it goes to the brain, and then it makes a synapses happen in the brain, and that gets sent back out. If it goes through the eye, the same thing. It goes into the brain, your brain processes it, a synapses happens, and there's a new electrical current that forms. So me here, right now, I can make a new synapse happen in your brain where you are, this very moment. So if you still aren't aware of that, let's try it. Think of ice cream. Think of how nice ice cream is. Think of chocolate ice cream. Chocolate ice cream with a side of banana. Now realize, you thinking about that, sure, you probably thought about ice cream before in your life, but I just took electrical currents inside of your brain, no matter where in the world you are, and I moved those with my own thoughts. You can do the same thing with your thoughts. At any time that you want, you have full control to think about whatever you want. You'll also notice in listening to this, in reading this, your mind can drift off. I don't have control of your thoughts, but when I want to have control of them, and I talk about apples and apples and apples, I will control your thoughts, just as you can control your thoughts. Speak loud to your thoughts, speak loud to your own brain, and send them where you want. Because when I say apples, you can think about those. When I say the chocolate ice cream, you think about that. So now let's look at that. If we're looking at everybody's brain that reads this at the same time, you'll see when those words are said, their brain is actually sent, and electrical currents are sent in different directions. Because when you think about chocolate ice cream, you're thinking about something completely different, and it's sending a complete different electrical signal than the apple is. So if I'm able to do that with just words, let's think about how powerful you are in front of another person. If you think that life does bad things to you, if you think there are situations that you have problems with, I want you to have a new movement, and I want you to start trying to change your own thoughts. Start vibrating in new directions inside your own head. Because it's easy to move the body. When you see a yoga instructor and they tell you to lift their arms, they tell you to put your hands down, that's easy movement. Mathematics, that's easy movement too. We're past that. You can add now, you have good grammar, you've read the books, but we're going into a new direction with our paradigm shift of movement. You can move molecules. So knowing this, let's move your own mind. Think about what you didn't like today. I guarantee there's something there. If you're listening to this, you have a reason to listen to this. You want change. So we can change it in this movement. Let's move your mind. Let's think about what you didn't like and simply tell yourself, what I didn't like today had purpose. It had reason. There was a purpose that I had problems today. I've learned from that, and having that awareness, just the awareness alone that that problem had meaning, I can now respect that problem. That's a new synapses you can have every single time a problem happens. You can always respect problems. So in this phase, I want you to learn how to have movement in different directions, only in the mind, only in the spirit. Let's unattach from ways that we used to think things were important, and let's reattach to ways that are successful. So after sharing your vision with others, we want to move on to a new enlightenment phase. When we're enlightened, we see our dreams in reality. Reality and dreams are no different. They're just electrical currents. When you're asleep, you choose to send electrical currents to the brain, and those electrical currents vibrate and tell your body that you're receiving different emotions. You're receiving different senses. When you're awake, the same thing happens. There's only one small difference. When you're awake and you're asleep, our conscious mind, when we're awake, thinks that it's in control. When you're asleep, your subconscious mind is in control. So in this phase of being awakened, I want you to switch over and let your subconscious mind always be in control. So in this moment, think about this. You're asleep. This is a dream. In this dream world, you're in charge of your dream. If someone comes up to you and hits you in your dream, who's accountable for that? Do you ever get mad at the person that hit you in your dream? Or do you just get mad at yourself? If someone robs you in your dream, do you wake up and say, oh my gosh, I got robbed in my dream, it was crazy? And then, what everybody does when they dream and they wake up afterwards, they say, I can't believe it. I wonder what I ate that made me dream that. I wonder what movie I watched that made me dream that. Because in a dream world, we understand that our thoughts and our presence around us affects our dreams. But in your conscious world, people aren't aware of that. So we need to change that awareness. We need to realize the clothes that you wear right now, they're affecting what you're dreaming when you're awake. What you eat, they're affecting how you're dreaming. How you breathe, the people that you see, the thoughts that you have. All of that affects this dream world because the subconscious dream world is not that much different than the conscious dream world. So in this phase, I want you to consciously dream. When you dream tonight, I want you to think about that chocolate, banana, ice cream. Or I want you to think about the apples. So close your eyes now, and let's consciously tell ourselves we are going to dream of that tonight. Picture it completely. What does it look like? What temperature is it? What does it taste like? And before you go to bed, do the same thing. Tell yourself, I want to have a wonderful chocolate ice cream while I sleep. So after we share our vision with others, now we want to learn how to visualize our dreams. So let's think about what exactly a dream is. A dream is actually an awakened phase of the subconscious mind. We have two minds. We have the subconscious mind and we have the conscious mind. And right now, in this moment, I want you to think of those two separate entities. Eventually, we'll mold them together. But right now, your conscious mind is where you are while you're listening to me. Your conscious mind is interpreting this. It's judging it. It's telling you if you appreciate it, if I'm wrong, if I'm speaking too fast. You're judging every single second of your life. We're taught not to judge. However, our conscious mind, the purpose it's there is to judge things. Is to tell your subconscious mind, the mind that dreams, how life works, what doesn't work. So what I want you to learn how to do is visualize your dreams. Now this is easy. When you talk to people and they talk about their dreams, they'll tell you that they wake up and that they had a very vivid dreams. There were zombies there. There was a guy with a gun and he was shooting at you and you ran under a bush and then you shot back and you got him and then you woke up. That's what they'll say in the dream. And the other person will say, well, I wonder what you ate that made that happen. I wonder what happened yesterday. Were you stressed? Do you like zombies? You'll say, oh, well, I was playing a video game with zombies in it, so that makes sense. Then another day you'll say, I was falling. In my dream, I was falling. I wonder what it means. I wonder what it means that I was falling in my dream. And you ask others, because you see that your subconscious mind, it is connected to your conscious mind. However, we never ask the other way around. We never ask, how does our conscious mind get affected by our subconscious mind? How can I close my eyes in this moment and tell myself, I'm going to be happy later? And just close your eyes and you see yourself happy, you visualize that, and then later you're happy. You're not depressed anymore, you're not sad, you have abundance. And at that point, when people see that you're happy, they never ask you this. They never say, oh wow, you look really happy. What do you dream about? But we always do the opposite. When you dream, we say, wow, that's a vivid dream. What happened before that? What happened in real life that affected your dream? But I want you to start doing the opposite. When you have things in real life, in the conscious mind, I want you to ask yourself, what did I dream about last night that made this happen? What did I dream about yesterday that made my reality today? Because the conscious mind is a ripple effect of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind starts first. The subconscious mind has the thought, has the vision, and then a later ripple, the mind goes out and creates that. So if you're here, wherever you are is here, that here was first created in your subconscious mind. So you have to thank yourself for that. We have to take responsibility for where we are in our day. We have to realize that our subconscious mind desired that. The struggles that you have, the joys that you have, the wealth that you have, they were all created by that subconscious mind. So if that's the case, and you agree with that, and you can see that, then now we need to create healthy visions in our dreams. Because you've been learning how to create healthy visions in your reality. You've been learning how to have good habits. Your actions are good. You eat well. You work out. You take care of others. Those are all tangible actions that your conscious mind has. However, we haven't created movement with that subconscious mind. So believe it or not, the subconscious mind can be completely controlled by itself. It's not the subconscious mind that affects the conscious mind. We need to have the subconscious mind control the subconscious mind. So first, I want you to think about what you're going to dream tonight. I want you to think about what vision you have when you're asleep, and I want you to realize that your subconscious mind, it is awake right now. It's more awake than ever. You can control your breath, you can control your posture, you can control the food that goes in you. If you have somebody in your life that you hate, you can let go of that. If you have someone that you love, you can love them more. If you have a food that you like, you can get that today. This is a conscious dream. That's what's lovely about it. And where you feel so in control of this dream, because you can order a hamburger, you can go on vacation. You are in 100% control of that. And then what I want you to do is think about what you want to dream tonight. Set that intention. After you set that intention, it might take you a week, because practice makes perfect. Keep setting the intention for what you want your dream as. And then eventually, as time unfolds, you will start dreaming that. Now, that's when an interesting thing happens in our body. We become awakened and we become enlightened that we're capable of dreaming whatever we want to dream. I've met clients of mine, I've met apprentices of mine, that they wake up in my presence, when they're eating the foods that I want them to eat, when they're thinking the thoughts that I want them to think, when they're helping people how I want them to help. When you do all of that, the life forces flow through you, and you become one with the universe. So then your subconscious mind becomes relaxed, becomes happy. Your dreams start becoming successful. Once your dreams are successful, then you can play around in it. My students tell me, they're like, yeah, I was in that same zombie fight and I was just picking them off one by one. It was fun. I didn't even want to play the video game. My dream was better. I wanted to stay in the dream. And they're like, tonight I'm going to dream about having a big machine gun as both arms, and I'm going to take out the zombies like crazy. And my female clients, they're saying, I had the most romantic dream you could ever imagine. He was incredible. He treated me like a woman. I felt like a princess. We rode horses in the field. And they subconsciously create that. So after you subconsciously create that, you have to realize that's actually a stepping stone to another reality. Because once you wake up, you're still in your condo. You still have to go to work. You still have to wash your laundry. That's the reality that exists. That's not the dream world. So awakening beyond that, we want to have a consciousness that's awake in the dream world and in the conscious world. And then we want to merge both of those together. So when you merge both of those together, for example, as a man, I love tech. I used to play a lot of video games. And as I once heard, once I was a boy and I played with childish things. Now I'm a man and I put those toys away. And what that really means is this reality that I have in front of me, this is my toy. This is my dream. I created this, every piece of it, every person in it, every food in it, every thought in it. So it might take time for you, but you can change your life so that every single thought you have, every single encounter you have, every season you have, if you want ice and snow, there are environments like that. If you want a vacation in sunshine and the tropics, you can live there, you can move there. It might take a year to build that dream, but the small steps and having your subconscious mind continually creating that, you can make that a reality, as I have. So, if our thoughts, this is the next section, by the way, this is how we merge our participation, our movement, and our awakening all into one moment. Because again, you need to remember, this isn't about going outward, it's about going inward. When we go inward, we actually find strength within, and we're harmonizing ourselves with the universe. We're finding the vibrations that we create in our body, and we're re-vibrating in a way that is in harmony with everything. So if our thoughts are electrical vibration, then our thoughts are movements. So we no longer have to think about movement as a separate piece of awakening. You can simply awaken a new thought inside of your body, and that alone, that is a movement. So instead of participating in something and learning a skill, after you've learned the skill, let's take yoga for example. Maybe you have a lot of lower back pain. Maybe you have a lot of tension in your body. So you decide, I want to do yoga. Maybe you just have a lot of stress and you get headaches all the time. So you say, I've heard yoga helps that. So this applies for every single principle, but let's use yoga as an example. Maybe you've been using the Trinity method and you've been teaching your students. First participate. Join a yoga class. Give yoga back to other people. And giving yoga back, you'll learn more about it. And in learning more about it, you'll open up energy in your body. You'll have movement in areas of your body and you'll let go of stagnation. So that stagnant energy that you let go of then enlightens you. Then you realize, wow, my lower back feels better. My headaches are gone. I don't have that issue anymore. And you become enlightened and you realize, I don't have to live that tension. I don't have to have tension in my life like I used to. However, what if we reverse the whole Trinity cycle?
What if we realize that time doesn't exist? Somewhere, at some point in your life, someone taught you how to count time. I want you to realize in children how that's a learned habit. Look at a child that's so young they don't know how to count. They don't know what a watch is. They don't know when it's nighttime. They don't know when it's daytime. That's a learned skill that we teach children. I want you to go back to that time. I want you to see yourself, and I want you to visualize what you thought you were at that time. Did you think you were powerful? Were you flexible? Were you a leader? And where along your timeline did someone tell you, no, you can't be that? There's a rule and there's a process to how to become that. And now let's look at who told you that. Maybe you have a teacher, maybe a parent, and they said there's a certain time you have to eat. There's a certain time you're allowed to play. Now let's remember who I am. Let's remember our other world leaders. And let's see how they play. So for me, I think it's important to play in all moments. I think it's important to eat what you want to eat whenever you want to. If you want a toy, go grab the toy. If you want to have fun, go have fun. When you do this, you'll realize it's okay to be a child. The people that tell you it's not okay to be a child, they have an artificial timeline in life of how life works. And if you see these exact same people, they don't have happiness. So why are we listening to them? Well, when you're a baby, they're feeding you, and they're putting a roof over your head, so you almost have to listen to them, just for survival. But hopefully you're not in those situations anymore. You take care of yourself. You've been following our principles long enough, and you've been guiding other people in life long enough that you now have your own followers. You now have your own apprentices that you've been helping. And in doing that, you're now in control of your own time. You're now in control of your own life. You can eat when you want to eat. So knowing that, you've also been tricked into thinking that time matters and that certain foods matter. So if life is no more than a vibration, those foods that you were learning, even in my earlier chapters, even in the earlier sections of what I've taught, they don't matter anymore. As soon as they get to you, you can change their vibrations with your mind and your mind only. So back to the person that's doing yoga. They're giving yoga. They're getting enlightened with it. They're releasing their tension. What if we reverse time? Because remember, in my world, time doesn't exist. What if we reverse time and we realize you can become enlightened first? You can tell yourself, I have no back pain. By saying I have no back pain, I have no headache. There's nothing in life that gives me a headache other than me thinking about a headache alone. If you've never had a headache, you've never seen a headache, you've never experienced it, it does not exist. Just as if you never have had wealth and you've never seen wealth, wealth does not exist. A headache is not instinctual. It's not an aftermath. As Pavlov has taught us, when you ring a bell, a dog will start salivating. But then, as many other psychologists have taught us, when you overcome the mind and you become in control of your mind, and you now are the ruler of your subconscious, and you're now in harmony with your subconscious, you can guide that subconscious to feel whatever you want. You can salivate on the spot. You can cry on the spot. Look at actors. They have this incredible emotional energy to them. They know how to move their mind wherever they want to. An actor, a dancer, someone in theater, they understand this. And you'll actually see them get out of touch with the rest of the world. They don't understand time like anybody else. That's why it's so important to move and get rid of stagnation in all areas of the body. Because once you get rid of those areas, your body's moving in all directions. You have no stagnation anywhere. Then you're able to choose any thought you want at any time. You're able to choose any emotion anytime. You can also look at pain that way. If you're ever in pain, I've seen somebody step on something and they shake their hand afterwards. They've seen that. That's a learned action. With that, I want you to learn how to do that again on purpose, and the next time, don't shake your hand. The next time, shake the other hand. Make it a habit. You'll even find people in abusive relationships that they'll retrain their brain to think that abuse is sensual. So that goes to show how powerful the human mind is. They actually want to be abused to experience pleasure. So everything that you think about life can be different. The more you open your mind to the different directions that life has, you can see another human that interprets it a different way. So if they're capable of interpreting it a different way, then that means you are capable of interpreting it however you want. Once you're capable of interpreting it however you want, now let's just paint your dream. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And what do you want that journey to look like? Because the journey is more important to paint than the destination. And realizing that nothing takes time. Maybe you want to be a millionaire. Maybe you want to be a billionaire. None of that takes time. Let's walk down that path. If you're doing yoga and you decide, I have lower back pain and I need to do yoga, and my instructor told me it's going to take 6 months of yoga to get rid of my back pain. That instructor has presence. I'm sure they have better habits than you do. They have more presence. Their cells are vibrating at a better harmony and life than yours. Their cells are vibrating with more harmony and life than yours are. Therefore, you believe them. However, I want you to listen to my words very closely. There is nobody out there that can put a timeline on what you want. I have helped people time and time again, and I've seen people throughout history do this on their own, where they have trained their own brain to get rid of timelines. And if anything, when someone's working closely with me, I become a catalyst to whatever their own dream is. That's all I am, a catalyst. I connect their dream to their subconscious mind quicker than they did, because they put in their conscious mind a timeline on it. So if you're learning yoga and you say it's going to take 6 months because your instructor wants to get paid over 6 months, then that's putting a limitation on what you're capable of. Now let's think of that same instructor, because you might be that instructor. You might have students, and you might be limiting your students, and you might be limiting your students into thinking that you need to have a lot of time, because the more time that they give you, the more money they give you. However, what if you took that same student and you showed them you can get rid of your back pain today, let go of all your stresses. Your wife left you? That's a good thing. You lost all your money? There's a reason for that. You lost your job? There's purpose in that too. You have wisdom now. There's always a different perspective that sees life with enlightenment. So having that type of enlightenment, grasp that, and let's get rid of timelines, because there's a reason that you have lower back pain. That's energy that you're putting into your body every single day. If you have a headache, if you're in a coma, you do not have a headache. That is your conscious mind creating that headache. So let's look into your conscious mind and let's realize what blockages are you putting on your own life, and let's get rid of those blockages. Now, you could come far enough, you could say, I have no problems in my life. I like my life. I like my job. I like my family. I like my yoga. I like my Pilates. I like my dance. And I like my wealth. That's great. At that point, I want you to do this more for play, more for show. And I want you to reach past what the human consciousness says is normal. I want you to realize in one day, you can change your life. You can reach above and beyond, and your children can become more successful than you have ever been. If it took you 5 years to learn how to play chess and become a grandmaster, they can do that in a week. If it took you 5 years to learn yoga and get through all your asanas, your student can do that in a month. Your students and the people that you touch are a reflection of how powerful you are, how powerful your mind is. So if the mind is a reflection of just energy, and remember in our last lesson where I had you think about banana ice cream, I want you to realize whatever thought that I have, I can send to you. So if I can send that to you, and in this very moment, I can make you think about cheesecake. Thick chocolate cheesecake. If I'm capable of that, and you're thinking about it, And that means you too, with just simple words. All I said was chocolate cheesecake. It's that simple, and I can put a vibration through your brain that makes you think about that. So I'm not saying that to brag, I'm saying that to show you that you have that same ability. I'm a human with vocal cords. I'm using my energy to send out to you, and you could do that exact same thing. So why is that important? The reason it's important is because we are social creatures. We take the harp of life and we pluck one chord of it, and we watch the ripple effect of it go out in different directions. And your energy in this universe, in this one story that we are all telling at the same time, the story you are telling is with your body. That's the chord that you choose to pluck. So pluck that chord however you like, and let that vibration get sent out, and watch the people closest to you get affected first, and then whoever they're connected to get affected second. And time after time, I see the people closest to me, they form into the same habits, they get rid of all their stress, they hold their posture very well, everyone around them says they have incredible presence, they have no problems in their life, they start becoming visionaries. And not only that, the people next to them do that as well. So have stronger social impact with what you do, because if your life is great and you feel like you're on a pedestal and other people around you you're better than, that's not a good thing. It should be a pinnacle where you bring everybody up to that, because when everybody gets the best and you realize that you're at the source, if you're the source of the universe, and when you make a ripple, it ripples across the entire universe. Because again, let's remember what that universe is. It's one verse. It's a unified verse. Not just one verse, every single verse out there. Every single story. If someone wants to go clubbing and smoke and do drugs, and you aren't in line with that, it's still one universe. It's still one ripple. So you need to connect to everybody that you've ever touched, and you need to send them good energy, because their energy affects your energy. Their energy is still part of your energy. And if we let go of time, and time alone, then we'll see time doesn't exist. So if time doesn't exist at all, and if I can shorten the time it takes to do yoga, it doesn't take 6 months to get rid of your back pain. I could do that in 1 week, just by letting go of things. And look how easy it is to let go. I'm not telling you have to try really hard, learn all these asanas, and breathe a certain way. All you have to do is let go. So look how much easier it is to let go than it is to hold on. So once you let go, that's you going inward. That's you getting rid of the blocks and going to your central source. So once you're connected to that central source, you realize that you are the source. And that's your subconscious mind talking. The conscious source is a step beyond the subconscious mind. It's this protective bubble around your subconscious. For example, watch right now in this moment what your conscious mind is going to do. 2 plus 2 equals 5. Your conscious mind said I'm wrong. That was your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not know any judgment. The subconscious mind doesn't care. So if 2 plus 2 equals 5, that means 5 plus 5 can equal 7. And look at how your subconscious mind isn't affected at all because you have that barrier around it. So now let's look at this. If you have a student that it takes you 6 months to train in yoga, and then you see me train somebody in 1 day for all the exact same stuff, then now your conscious mind that protects your subconscious mind is going to tell the subconscious mind, it's going to say, hey, change what we thought. I just saw somebody do all of that 6 month stuff in 1 day. Guess what, man? I can do that in 1 day now because someone else did it. And then you do it in 1 day. You yourself have that success. Now let's look over history. Let's look at the human mind. Let's look at what we've been capable of. And exponentially, we've been growing at what our mind is capable of, year after year, decade after decade, century after century. So, if that conscious mind needs to be convinced first before it's able to let the subconscious mind grow, then what if we reverse that? What if we just let the subconscious mind do what it wants, and the conscious mind is then affected by that? And we start playing around and just lie to your subconscious mind. Try it, lie to it. Tell yourself, I am incredible at yoga. I am incredible at Pilates. I already have wealth. I'm not seeking wealth, I already have wealth. Start speaking these words, and when people ask you who you are, give yourself a title that resonates with what your dream is tomorrow. Don't let this conscious mind control you. Let that subconscious mind speak the dream today. Once you do that, you can realize that you are participating in your dream this very moment. You need to let go of the conscious mind. Let the subconscious mind always be free. If you want 2 + 2 to equal 5 in this moment, you can do that. If you want to learn yoga today, you can do that. If you want to become a pilot today, you can do that. It does not take time. So once we reduce the amount of time something takes, and we realize that time with different people, based on how much they're enlightened, will vary. So if that varies, and if time varies, that also means that distance varies. So if distance varies, because distance is just time, it's another measurement of time. And what people don't realize, I have friends and I have connections and I have apprentices all over the world. The same energy that I'm giving out right now, here in Costa Rica, in the rainforest, can be felt because this is a ripple that I'm sending out into the universe. By creating the consciousness with these words, they don't need to hear the words. It's already sent out. Because think about this. After 1 million people read this, listen to this, and start turning this into their consciousness, and they too realize that time doesn't exist. It's a facade. And they start creating a new consciousness around their subconsciousness. They take away judgment and they just let life exist. Then everyone will start letting go of time. Everyone will let go of distance. We'll realize that we're all connected in this one moment. So then you have to ask yourself, after we all realize that time does not exist, that we're all connected in this one moment, did I create that right now in this very moment? Did I create that? Or is there a creator? Because how can you create something if there's no time? A year from now, 5 years from now, when everybody has this ability, everybody has this awareness, they all have presence, they're dreaming, then when is their past, when is their present, and when is their future? Now, I know, I can feel the energy. I can feel that your consciousness still doesn't believe that time doesn't exist. So let's go back to that subconscious mind. Let's go back to the dream world. When you dream, do you ever wake up and tell people, okay guys, so I was 6 years old and I was playing with my little brother in my dream and I hit him with a noodle? You know? Do you ever say that? And for other people, they're like, oh wow, I wonder what made you think about when you were 6 years old. I wonder why you dreamt about that. That's normal to you, right? But who's to say that's not reality? Who's to say that this linear path of day after day, 1 comes before 2, that this is any more real than the dream world where you can jump around in time whenever you want? Because I can jump around in time, and I can remember moments how I want to remember them. I didn't have the best childhood. We weren't the wealthiest family. My parents were divorced. I didn't have the best upbringing. But when I look back on that, I can create a different reality. At the moment, I might have saw it for what it was. And now I can look back on that and I can say, it was a wonderful childhood. I had many toys and many blessings, and I had my health, and people cared about me. And that's what I take with me going forward. Therefore, if that's what I remember, that's what I create for my tomorrow. And people can't see my childhood in me because I don't see a linear path behind me. So you have to let go of that linear path that you created and said, well, today I'm overweight because my whole family is overweight. So there's a linear path to that. There's a heritage to what I create. So in letting go of that, if you're connecting to other people and the other people around you all have success, then you too can have success. And the reason you'll have success is your subconscious mind is vibrating at the same frequency they are. Even better than that, the problem in the world right now is there's not very many people vibrating at a good frequency. Therefore, you have to connect with the 0.001% of the world that is. And guess what? They are not right beside of you. They're not even close to right beside of you. There's probably not even one in your same town. So, what I suggest is attaching to the vibrations of energy that you find throughout history. My rule when I was learning all of this is to pick one person per 100 years to learn from. So if they aren't even in your vicinity, they might not even be in your timeline. So look back through history. Find Pavlov. Find Einstein. Find Da Vinci. Find Jesus. Find Gandhi. Find Buddha. Find people, one every 100 years, and learn from them. Let their vibrations take over you. Do what they did. Once you do what they did, you'll learn why they had their thoughts. Don't judge them. Let them touch your subconscious mind. Dream as if you are them. Dream as if you have the same abilities that they have, the same words that they have. Speak their words. Share their words with your friends. Once you do that, you'll have more happiness and you'll have more abundance. So how this applies with our Trinity method, if we can become awakened first, become enlightened first, after we become enlightened, then that movement doesn't just happen inside of us, that movement happens because we have so much presence that it ripples out to others around us. The nice thing about that is how you participate. I've reached a point in my life where I no longer teach people, I simply be. So once you get to the inside centerpiece of the entire Trinity, you no longer go and teach people. Because teaching comes from the ego. Teaching says, I am better than you. I know more than you. I am more than you. I be more than you. And movement says the same thing. If you're trying to move other people, which initially I want you to, because I need you to learn that. I need you to go inward deeper. And you can't learn that you're already there until you try to not be there. So after you've already taught a lot, you've taught 10 years worth of Pilates. You've taught 500 people how to fly an airplane. Whatever it is that you've taught, after you've done that for a while, you realize that you giving them confidence alone, that teaches them, that inspires them. That confidence boost to other people is the first thing that they need. Telling them, you can do this. I know you can do it. I believe in you. That's one of the best things you could do for people. But then reaching beyond that, just being. You be in the cockpit of the plane, hit 3 buttons, take off and land gently, and let other people know, I love this. Let them know with your actions, because if you have to speak words to teach other people, you do not yet know your subject. You not yet are your subject. So words are not needed, only actions. And then actions aren't needed. I don't need you to go out and hold up signs and market and push people to your method. If you are your method and you have presence with what you do, then other people will resonate with that. I'm at the point in my life where I have more people asking me to join what I do, and they don't even know how they're asking that. They want to buy my books, they want to join my programs, they want to be around me. And when they are around me, it's hypnotic, it's engaging, it's intriguing, because I have fun. Every moment I have fun. I was confused whenever I worked with somebody, and they said, sure, I learned every single thing that you taught me on the books and all that, but the thing that I want most and I'm not going to have when I'm not here is I'm not going to be able to watch you solve problems, because when you solve problems you enjoy it. And that sparked a new idea in me a few years ago, and I switched my paradigm to what it is now, where I realize people need to have fun solving problems. We have so many problems in life, we have so much tension in life, that if you enjoy that process, that's what nature enjoys. When a tree starts getting old and decaying in the forest, you'll see a new young sapling coming along, pushing it aside and deciding, I love the forest, I love the sun, I love this growth process that I have to have. I love trying to search for new nutrients. That's how the forest stays growing and evolving every single year. So humans are the same way. You need to learn how to love that and be that. So based on that, once people see you and they find presence in who you are, you have to also see that's your consciousness. They're seeing the conscious representation of who you are. If you're no more than a vibration in this world, a synchronized vibration that makes up a human, that's controlled by your thoughts and your spirit, then let's go back to the spirit piece of that. And now, from that spirit, think other people. Just do that in your mind. Say, I think other people. I love other people. I love everyone. When you do that, that's a vibration. That's a small vibration in your mind. And when you do that, that sends out a vibration that's a ripple throughout the world. Now, you can sit there and tell me that I'm wrong, or I'm frou-frou, or this sounds fluffy. But I want you to see your life, and I want you to see how much struggle you have in your life. And I want you to realize one small ingredient in a recipe can change the entire recipe. And then I want you to see my life. There is no luck. I'm in control of every single second. I have awareness in all moments. And I will tell you the recipe that I've created. My ingredients change every day in every single recipe I make. But there's one ingredient that I hold in every moment, and that's love. It's love and patience. When I send love out, I don't need to see that love straight back. I send it out just to send out. And the patience is patience in sending it. Someone else doesn't need to receive it. I send it for me, I don't send it for them. So when you send that out, that's you being, that's you appreciating every moment. Because every time you wake up, every time you experience something, that's a blessing to experience that. Once we realize that, we'll enjoy life a lot more. I've lived in third world countries, I've been all over the place, and the most dangerous spots I've been to, I smile at people and I thank them as soon as I see them. I don't judge them. They look very dangerous. They look like they can hurt somebody, and they probably have hurt a lot of people. But to me, I thank them for being there, and I let them know, I'm someone you can trust, and I see you as family. And immediately, their eyes soften and they smile back. So you might have heard this before about people that haven't had a lot of success. But the interesting thing is, to find the most success, you have to give the most happiness. You have to give the most love. And then, after you do this, and after your conscious mind is sending this out, and you're smiling a lot and you're giving that, I want you to step into your subconscious mind. I want you to touch into your dreams. And now, when someone's next to you and they're having issues, I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to be happy. Because remember, you're not a teacher. If you visualize them as having success, and this is the most powerful thing I have in my entire program, and it's why everyone around me is successful. I see them for somebody that they're not. And I lie to myself. And the reason I use those words is to convince you of how this works to me. Because in my mind, they are that person. I change people's titles immediately so that they're convinced of who they are. I have a web designer, I just changed his title to Visionary Leader. He's working with clients that are very high-end in the social impact atmosphere. And he's giving them advice on how to handle their digital content. To me, he has a lot of social impact in this world. He's affecting millions of people in the designs that he creates. Therefore, he is a visionary leader. Once he realizes he's a visionary leader, he'll have a more gentle approach to how he handles his business. That's just one example. I've worked with cooks and maids. I don't like the word cook. Cook doesn't show that they're an artist. I call them a culinary artist. I've worked with personal trainers. I like to call them lifestyle designers. They redesign how someone lives life. I also like calling them dream advisors because they advise people on how to change their dreams. That's also the vision I have for myself. I'm a dream advisor. You are a dream advisor. Realizing that you can change somebody's dreams, you can advise them on what they should be dreaming about. You can advise them by living your own dream. Once you live your own dream, the most powerful thing someone can do is come up to you and say, how can I live my dream? What dream do you see within me that is already my dream that I don't see within myself? And once they say that, there's a whole world that opens up, and it becomes very fun working with anybody. Think if a murderer came up to you and said, I don't see my full potential. Would you mind sharing what my full potential is? Because right now, I see it in a tormented way. So you don't need to wait for people to say this. By them being stressed, by them not having the most abundant wealth in their life, they already are saying this. Anytime they say, I have a headache, what they're really saying is, your life seems more simple than mine, and I don't know how to live that kind of life. Will you please help me? So helping back, you'll realize that's what you want in your life. You want the people around you to have more success and have more abundance. Because when they have abundance, that overflows into your abundance. And don't even look at this from a selfish perspective. Just you be abundance. When you are abundance and you give to the world, it gives back. And it might not even give back to you. It gives back in a way that is just satisfying to the world, to the entire universe, to the entire story that we're harmonizing. So what I say when you're at the epitome of your entire teaching and you're ready to impact the world, start helping others. Start helping them live their dream and guiding their dream in a way that you would advise. And only do this after you've been advised on what your dream should be, on where your dream should go, and how your dream should be played out. And once you're living that dream, and you just have a few kinks left in it, and you're at the top of the realm of what you do in life, then start remolding and reshaping other people's dreams. And first do that with your conscious mind. Call yourself a dream advisor. Change the titles of the people that you know. Tell them to have different dreams. But then, the final step that I want you to do is let your subconscious mind do this. And I'm letting my subconscious mind do that this very moment. I see the world awakening. I see it in my sleep. I see it in my dreams. The world is already awake. I'm just reminding them that they desire that. So you do that in your dreams. If your mother doesn't listen to you, if you see torment in her life, dream about it and see her happy. She'll appreciate it, because that's a vibration that you're sending out to her. And when people don't have strength and you have that much presence in your being, your vibration can be felt very far away. So run with that. Start on the outside of your Trinity and keep working inwards to where you get to the point that your subconscious mind is controlling your reality, is controlling your dream world, and is guiding other people's dreams, which then ripples and guides their reality.